As I said, that fundamental right has seen its enforcement during the 70 years.
I request everybody to, yeah, please. Thank you. Sir, kindly proceed.
Ji. So, second observation is we have in chapter 4, after chapter 3, we have directive principles of the state policy. When we see we have fundamental rights, and if I say as a nation of 70 years, we have achieved something on the front of fundamental rights. But fundamental rights, when we see what we have achieved certain freedoms under Article 19 and certain extension in the right to life, which are we say on individual count. And directive principles are social in nature. I hope the social work department has emphasis on directive principles of the state policy, and they are teaching and they are inculcating many things on this directive principle of state policy. State policy principle says that workers should be part of the management. I'm concentrating on workers because during this pandemic, what we have seen that migrant workers has emerged as a class. Constitution gives us the classes of persons, namely women, children, weaker sections of the society, economically weaker now, and OBCs, SCs, and STs. These are the weaker sections which has been identified by the Constitution for the specific concentration of the government and government policy. But this pandemic has brought out a very you see a picture of the migrant workers, that migrant workers are a class apart. So, directive principles of the state policy says that workers should be the part of the management. There should be living wages to the workers. Now, living wages are only to be counted on day-to-day basis, that they are earning today and spending today. And if they are earning today, how long they can spend for tomorrow, for day after tomorrow, for a week, for a fortnight, for a month, or for a year. How much wages they are earning? Constitution promised them living wages, and I'm sure its interpretation, liberal interpretation, should be like that it is a living wages, so they can lead a dignified life like human beings. So there is no depravity. They are not being pushed to a situation where only wants, only needs, and they are only asking for begging only, or looking for the compassion from anybody. This is not a dignified wages. This is not the living wages concept. Living wages concept is they are being given enough at least to lead a respectful life. Article 21, the 41 of the Constitution says that government will take care of every citizen. This is directive principle. Government policy needs to be concentrated on where everybody's wants and needs are being fulfilled, whether they are deprived section of society, whether they are old age, whether they are ill, or they are being pushed to starvation. Government is the rescuer only. Therefore, this is my second point, that how much we have gone on this directive principle. My observation as a student of constitutional law since last 25 years as a student and teacher, I find that no doubt there is a work done on human rights. Some path has been broken, or there are some achievements to count on the front of human rights. But at the same time, when we talk about the directive principle of the social, the directive principle of state policy, the social institutions, the civil society, the workers, we have only legislation, minimum wages. Minimum wages, meaning thereby if four members of the family are earning today, they can feed themselves today. If they are not earning tomorrow, they may not be able to feed themselves day after tomorrow. This is the minimum wages act. This is the law. It says yes, the equal pay for equal work. It is sufficient. My point third is I am hastening up because it's 20 minutes now, so I hope some time will be given to the other speaker and then question answer session to everyone. So third point is we have fundamental duties too. Fundamental duties, again, the state expects its citizens that they would be contributing during the troubled times, during the challenging times. Nation can ask anyone, state can ask anyone during such time to contribute, to work. Now, if we have fundamental right where state can impose duties again for forced labor, if we have directive principles, many good jurisprudence and the labor welfare jurisprudence is there in the directive principles of state policy. We have a fundamental duty to contribute. Then we need to assess now during this challenging time. This is the right time we can challenge ourselves as a society, as a government, and as a state. We can assess ourselves that nature has given us a problem. There was a disease. Can we fight them? Till now, the thing is that disease is there. No doubt it is very serious. Everybody is serious about this because there is no vaccine. But at the same time, we have enough food grains. We have enough system in the place. Then why the deprived sections of the society? Why the deprived section of the society in the name of it's a class now, we should not forget this as a class unless and until it is being given protection. We should continue it as a class. It's a migration. It's a migrant workers. Migrant workers move from their places, serve in the cities, in the metropolitan cities or elsewhere. Ultimately, when it comes for those cities, for those states, to feed them for a while, for months only, then they have been tucked away from those places. Then they are in search of their homeland. Homeland they have left. If homeland has been left, they have joined their karma bhumi, and karma bhumi says that go back to the homeland. I think morally, humanly, and otherwise, this is a very bad situation being created in front of us. And all human rights jurisprudence, directive principles, and duties has been gone for a toss during this testing time. No doubt, government will come out with the data how much they have done, and they may score 35% marks in this. But we are talking about the human rights. We are talking about the humanity. We have to save. And for this matter, in conclusion, I will say, for this matter, for such matters and such things, we need to develop a human duties culture. Please mark this, both the departments, Human Rights Department and Social Work Department, we need to inculcate the human duties culture. We need to build up the human duties institutions in the society in the name of service teams, national service teams, or social institutions which could respond to this kind of situations. And we should not come forward for commenting, for taking audit of somebody. Yes, we will take audit of everyone. We'll take audit of government, of state, of everyone. But at the same time, society needs to be prepared for such times, because such times comes once in a century or half century or a decade. But need to prepare as a human. If I say, in law, I may be satisfied to some extent. As I told you, government has done a bit, and government will score, if they score 35% marks. But this is not a question of passing in 35% marks. We have seen the labor on the roads and their plight. So social institutions are to be built, and as a society, we need to understand that if we are there, we can contribute, we should contribute, but individual contributions hardly matters. We need to institutionalized, and these institutions need to be funded like national service schemes, so they have enough fund to do the good job towards the deprived sections of the society. Thank you very much for this giving me opportunity to interact, and I hope I have raised questions also. So in the end, if there are few questions, then I will be available. Thank you, Dr. Namita and Dr. Monica. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a comprehensive deliberation on fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. And you rightly said that it is these newly incepted centers, such as Center for Human Rights and Center for Social Work, which has been established and reaffirmed the faith in how the government is upholding various fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. And it is very important point which you raised is that migrant workers have now emerged as a new class during this current pandemic, and we have to have a very serious thought and deliberation of how to come out of this kind of alienation which these migrant workers must have felt in these period during this pandemic. We also have in our guest, Shri Mahavir Singh ji from Chandigarh State Legal Services Authority. Professor Anju Suri is there from Department of History. And we have our guests from other universities, for example, from University of Mumbai. And from Kolhapur, we have Dr. Akshata from Knight College of Arts and Commerce, Kolhapur. I welcome you all and other distinguished guests also. Now I request Dr. Monica to kindly introduce our next speaker, Dr. Balaji Kandre from University of.
Thank you, Namita. And thank you, Professor Devinder, for giving us such a detailed and comprehensive talk on the enforcement of human rights and what civil society can do. So we'll take